Hello and welcome back to Joellen's Kitchen. Today we're going to make something that is so easy you're going to say, I didn't know. And maybe you do. Maybe you're a very experienced cook. But a lot of people don't realize that inside of a bone, whether it's a human bone or an animal bone, there is something called marrow. It's kind of soft in there, and if it's cooked a good long time, that marrow kind of breaks down and goes into the liquid around it. It is so tasty. Not only that, the nutrients in bone marrow are good for your own bones to build strength. So if you have a slight case of osteoporosis or something of that nature, I'm told that bone marrow is very good. And so by making this broth in a larger volume, you can store it in an empty container, a half-gallon or gallon jug, in your refrigerator. So when you've got a hankering for just a cup of broth, bone marrow broth, you can heat it up in your microwave. Within a minute you'll have a cup to drink. Or you might want to make some French onion soup, and it's a great base. You pour it into a container, and of course you want some onions in there, and you want to top it with cheese, and you bake it on low for a while, and you have French onion soup. And you have croutons in there too, and it's really good. And another thing I like to do, there's obviously marrow in all kinds of bones. Today I bought some neck bones, some beef neck bones, and we're going to be using those. But you can use ham bones or any other kind, like chicken, whatever. But they have to be cut or broken. That you need to be able to have that marrow come out. So these are neck bones, and they're cut down into pieces. And as you can see, there are bones in there, and that marrow in the center is, in these it's a little harder than in some, but it's okay. We're going to put them into a crock pot. And these actually have a little bit of meat around them. Sometimes you can buy, there's one that has softness down the center, but sometimes you can buy just bones. When I went looking this weekend, all I could find was the ones with a little bit of meat hanging on. So we'll have that. Another thing I like to do with my beef broth or chicken broth, marrow, is to make chicken pot pie or beef pot pie. And so I've made that in the past, the pot pie. But this is how you make a very nutritious marrow broth. So however many bones you have, you put them into your crock pot. And I have 5 cups of water. I'm going to put that in. And just for a little bit of salt, and because it's what I do, I use 2 beef bouillon cubes. And the chicken or pork, you would use the chicken bouillon cubes. I just drop them in, and it depends how much time you have. You want to put them maybe on high for at least 5 hours, and if you have all day or put them in overnight, put it on low and let them cook for a good 8 or 10 hours, and you're going to have a marvelous broth. And you can pull out the bones, and in this case I'll be taking the meat off and adding that to it too. But it's a simple thing to do, and so nutritious, and many people are just not aware of it. So I'll be back and we'll try it out later. Thank you. Well, it's the next morning, and I'm about to have a cup of my bone broth. Again, it's very healthy, and it's warm, and it's snowing outside. I think I'm going to enjoy this. The microwave just popped, so I'll be right back. I love the smell too, and it feels good in my hands. It's so nice and warm. Wow, terrific. After pulling the bones out of the broth and separating the beef, which I can use to make vegetable soup or eat just so, I also made containers of the broth that I can refrigerate and pull out when I want some good beef stock to make chicken pot pie or vegetable soup, whatever it might be, or even French onion soup. And as I said, I can just sit and enjoy a cup of warm broth. Thank you for joining me.